Welcome back to the Deep Digger Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew. My other host, right over there.
What's up? It's D. Good to see you again. Be sure to hit that like button. Be sure to subscribe. Drop some comments below. Let us know your thoughts. We're happy to be here.
Yep, it's been a minute. We've been gone for a while, but March Madness has just when we think we're out, it pulls us back in. So what better way to kick off us coming back in March than filling out a bracket of our own and trying to be the first person to have I think between our knowledge, we could get a perfect bracket.
I highly doubt it. Every year something stupid happens. Last year it was Jack Golke in Oakland. This year it's going to be just some random kid that we do not know about right now, but is going to be the talk of the town for at least the first round.
So here we're gonna start filling out this bracket. Go ahead and lock in, and we're gonna be talking for a while about our favorite teams in this tournament. So right off the bat, Auburn, I think we're just gonna say they're in.
Yes. I think that's a pretty easy advance forward. I'm not high on Auburn, though. I don't think they should have got the 1-1. That's something that we'll talk about a little bit later.
Yeah, Louisville Creighton. This is actually a pretty hype matchup that I like. Creighton played tough in their conference tournament. I really like the guards at Louisville, though. This kind of a toss up for me.
Honestly, this was one that Louisville felt like they were disrespected with this seeding. They felt like they should have been much higher. Creighton is a team that I'm surprised got as low as the 9 seed. I again, yeah, this is a toss up. It is the committee did screw over Louisville, but they basically gave them a home game in this. Because of that, I would say I would give the edge to Louisville.
All right, let's go Louisville here. Michigan, and this is a team that everyone's talking about being the upset. This is their first time in the tournament. UC San Diego, they're coming in hot. They won their conference tournament, but Michigan got some great bigs down there. They're really fast point guard who stole the game versus, was it Wisconsin?
Yep.
Yeah, so I think I want to go. I want to go with the Cinderella here, but Michigan is just so good, so talented, and I feel like their mentality in a close game is something that's going to pay off against a team like this.
I'm actually going the opposite. I really believe that UC San Diego does have a chance to pull the upset here in the 12-5 matchup. The one thing that does give me that go ahead is that UC San Diego is elite at getting turnovers. And the one thing that this Michigan team has been plagued with over this entire season has been turning the ball over. So I feel like this is going to be a prime 12-5 upset. I know a lot of people are going flip flops. Like, hey, should we choose UC San Diego? Should we choose Michigan? I feel like a lot of people are going to be putting their money on UC San Diego, but I don't think that it's the most overhyped 12-5 seed, if that makes sense.
You know, if you're willing to go San Diego, I'm willing to go San Diego. Go Tritons. Let's put them
I
down.
mean, again, this is a Michigan team. They did get hot and win the tournament, but they've not been a solid, well-rounded team the entire year. So I feel confident with them getting it upset here.
All right, and this is another one that's interesting. Yale got some shooters on deck. Don't have a lot of size, but this is another team people are talking about. Can they make a Cinderella run? And think about the matchup: Yale versus UC San Diego. I have my popcorn ready. So I don't know if they could take out the size of Texas A&M, but interesting matchup here.
Nerds. I'm gonna go ahead and go with Texas A&M.
Okay. All right.
No, I really believe that Texas A&M, um, being tested in that SEC, proving that they are a very, very good team, beating a lot of high caliber teams. I think that I just wasn't impressed by Yale in that championship game. I'm going to go ahead and move forward with Texas A&M.
All right, next we're gonna go with Ole Miss, and this is a first four game here. It says San Diego State, and is this what UNC is this?
That's North Carolina.
Are they not? They didn't get a spot.
They have to play in, yes. So they were one of the last four in, I believe. So they have to play in tomorrow and the following day. I can't remember which one, but yeah, it is going to be North Carolina taking on Ole Miss. I know a lot of people are like, "Oh, obviously we have to move forward with Ole Miss," and everything that I just said about Texas A&M, you could say about Ole Miss. But doesn't it just feel like North Carolina is going to get into this tournament and win a couple of games just to prove
We
everybody wrong?
we just saw them come back from a 24-point deficit against Duke, against all odds, when everyone was like, this team's fucking sorry. They're getting blown out by a Duke team without Cooper Flag. And if they get in, the resilience of that squad, we're talking about San Diego State like they're chopped liver over here, already putting UNC past. But I'm gonna go ahead and take the liberty to say North Carolina gets past San Diego State. This is a Ole Miss getting a 6 seed and being like, we have to face an 11 seed North Carolina. Are you fucking kidding me? Give me a North Carolina.
Yeah, I would also choose North Carolina. I think I'm going to go ahead and go with that. Again, it just feels like everything is primed. Everyone is just absolutely trashing North Carolina, saying they only got in because their athletic director is the head of this committee. I think that they go in there and they prove people wrong. Although I don't think they deserve the spot either, if I'm going to be completely honest.
Hey, they're here now. It's March. You can't have, unless you're so terrible, you lose, like, you have such a bad win-loss ratio. We're going to have March without North Carolina in a tournament. I understand they're not, like, as good as these historical teams, but come on. We got to have North Carolina in a tournament.
Yep.
All right. Iowa State, Lipscomb. All right, we're going to Iowa State.
Oh, hold on here.
You got a Lipscomb.
After this seeding was announced, right? Iowa State announced that Keyshawn Gilbert, their second leading scorer, their leader in assist in minutes, was injured. Is not going to be available for for not just this game, but for the entirety of the tournament. So I'm not going to say that this is something that is going to be 100% that they lose this game, but that is something to watch hands down. I know Iowa State has been this team that has been at the top of the college basketball world for a good majority of this season, but that's a huge blow to Iowa State. And I don't think they would have got seeded at this spot had this injury been known like before this seeding went place.
So is that enough to sway you to go Lipscomb here? Is it pronounced Lipscomb?
Yeah, it is.
Lipscomb.
Yep, Lipscomb.
I don't want to be,
No, but
saying
I
something
think
I'm not supposed to.
I am gonna roll with Iowa State for this one. I don't know if they make it past the second round.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's go Marquette, New Mexico here. I think Marquette's going to be a team for me that can go pretty deep. I loved what I saw in their conference tournament. It was Cam Jones, point guard. He is filthy. If he gets going, if he gets hot, they have an unstoppable offense. The thing is, once he cooled down, everything kind of fell apart for them against St. John's. But against New Mexico, who I think has had a pretty solid season, I got to go Marquette here.
Does it sway you that Marquette was swept by Rick Pitino this past year, and the coach of New Mexico is one Richard Pitino?
Hey,
it's his son, so he's going to be sharing a lot of information about this Marquette team that he's seen up close and personal with his own son.
He's going to have to put a little bit more on the resume for me to, be swayed that much against this Marquette team. They played solid. They played real solid against St. John's.
They have warts, though, in this game. I will go ahead and give it to you then. Let's go ahead and roll Marquette, but I'm not, 100% sold that Marquette's just going to walk through them.
All right. Michigan State versus Bryant. I'd say Michigan State's solid this year. I like what I saw from them recently. We're going to go there. Florida, Norfolk. Norfolk was putting us a fight in their tournament, but, it's Florida. Florida earned the 1 seed. They look really good in a loaded SEC. We're going to talk about Florida more like throughout the tournament because I think they're going to go pretty deep. but you're high on this Florida team, right?
I think that they should have got 1-1 if we're going to be completely honest. It was between them or Duke, depending on if Duke really if Cooper Flag is going to be available for the majority of this tournament, then you have to give it. I would have said to give it to Duke. Again, I think that Auburn shouldn't have been the 1-1 in this tournament. I think because you've lost 3 of your last 4 games, I don't think that you should have been like coming into this. We've seen the warts, we've seen the drawback, and it sheds a light on the rest of the season. Like, hey, did we see some of these flaws moving forward? Yeah, they lost again. They eked out a few close wins here and there. I don't know. I just don't feel like they should have got the 1-1. But anyways, this is a good matchup. UConn, the defending back-to-back champs, the 8 seed taking on Oklahoma, the 9 seed. Who do you got?
Dude, this one is a tough one for me, but I think I got to go UConn. I got to go the experience. I'm going to go a team that I know can go deep in this tournament, has gone deep in the past. So I got to roll with UConn here.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to go with UConn as well. I think either one is going to get smashed by Florida, so I have no problem like picking either one of these.
Yeah, let's go UConn here. This game, Colorado State is a team where if they lost in their conference tournament, they were not making this tournament. They are the hottest team right now in college basketball. They've rattled off what, like 9, 10, 11 wins now since in their tournament. Counting their tournament in a row. Memphis is a team that looked, I thought they looked shaky at times in their turn, despite them winning it. They weren't going against the toughest level of competition, and I wanted to see more from them in Penny Hardaway. I think this has Colorado State upset written all over it.
To me, this is the most hyped up 12-5 matchup. I feel like this is going to be the most picked 12-5 matchup. Because of that, I feel like we should zig when everybody zags. I think we should go Memphis here.
I mean, Colorado State, they blew
I know
out
that
Boise.
they
hit threes. They're looking great defensively, and I think Memphis is streaky, man.
Okay, if you want to do Colorado State, we'll go ahead. I will trust you. I will give you the veto. Let's go ahead and do Colorado State.
Penny, I'm gonna say in Penny we trust. I really want the guy to be successful with Memphis. Let's go Memphis. And this is I'm picking with my heart here, man. I'm going with the person.
Okay.
Maryland Grand Canyon. This is these 4 and 5 matchups are tough.
Yeah. But honestly, I got to go with Maryland. I think Derek Queen is an awesome freshman for Maryland. I think that they're going to have Grand Canyon is going to have trouble with the size of Maryland. I think that I think Maryland is going to be tough. I could see them going far in this tournament.
Yeah, let's go Maryland. Drake is another team I know people are talking about potentially being that Cinderella. Missouri in a stacked SEC. I mean, they've been hanging around. Do you think they have enough to get past this Drake squad that everyone's hyping up?
This is a Missouri team that I was super surprised with. They beat number 1 Kansas very early on in the season when Kansas was still getting hyped about. Yeah, that doesn't look as great now, but it was a team that they really didn't back down from. They beat, if you look at their schedule, they have a couple of top 10 wins on their belt. I think they're going to get past Drake. I have no doubt about it. I feel pretty good about that.
Let's lock it in. And then I think we go Texas Tech here. UNC Wilmington. And I'm getting ahead of myself here, but Missouri, Texas Tech, pretty solid matchup. We're going to talk about in this next round, but Kansas or Kansas, who is the true Kansas in this matchup?
This is going to be an insane matchup. These are 2 legacy coaches that, if we're going to be completely honest, are on the decline. Calipari last year, he gets bounced out by Jack Golke in Oakland. Bill Self coming in again another year as the consensus preseason number one overall team, and just another disappointing season. It's a toss up for me on who's going to win this. I have to believe that Kansas has 1 win in this tournament on their belt. So I'm going to go Kansas.
Yeah, it's absolute toss up for me. I want to go with my heart and go. I hope Calipari can get a win, but yeah, Kansas has more, staying power with the being the more recently good team, and so I'm gonna go Kansas. And I have to see Arkansas pull it off before I can like fully believe in Calipari in this squad.
Yep.
St. John's versus Omaha.
Let's go, St. John's.
St. John's. St. John's just impressed me throughout that tournament. They're poised. They're comfortable playing ahead. They're comfortable playing 15 down. I loved what I saw in their conference tournament. All right. Let's figure out. All right. Number 1 in the East, Duke. We're going to go Duke.
We're moving forward, Duke.
All right. Mississippi State and Baylor.
This is Mississippi State. It feels like every time that they're poised to make a big jump or to make a splash, they just seem to just pitter out and not make that step. So I'm going to go Baylor.
All right, let's go Baylor. It's another toss up for me, but I'm happy to go Baylor there. Oregon Liberty. This is a 5-12 that I'm not really hyped about. I think Oregon should handle business here.
Yeah, even though I don't trust Oregon long term in this tournament, I trust them to get over this 12 seed. It's not a scary matchup for me, if I'm going to be honest.
Yeah, same thing for me with Arizona here. I thought they looked solid in the conference tournament coming in. I think they handle business against Akron, and I'm actually hyped to see them beat Oregon in the next round.
The Akron Zips are one of the hottest teams in basketball right now. They're looking pretty good.
I don't know. Akron. All
right. Yeah. I mean, Arizona, we trust them. Caleb Love. I'll go ahead and go Arizona, but I will say, like, don't just kind of, poo-poo that. I feel like Akron is going to give them a scare here.
All right. Well, I'm more than comfortable looking stupid here if Akron beats Arizona.
Yep.
Clip it.
All initials, BYU, VCU.
Dude, I'm not going to lie. I like what I've seen from VCU, but can they beat the Mormons? Can they beat BYU? I don't know if they got the firepower.
I don't know if they have the firepower either. This BYU team was looking pretty strong at certain points during this season.
They're not out there drinking. They're not out there partying. All they do is ball. Like, how can you compete with that?
Right. And they have their number 1 recruit coming next. And this is a down year for BYU. Next year, they have the number 1 prospect coming in. It's going to be pretty crazy.
Yeah, let's go there. Wisconsin, Montana. I think we just go Wisconsin. There's a solid squad.
Yep.
It's going to be hard for me to go against some of these 1, 2, 3s.
Yeah. I mean, this again, I feel like this is it is going to be a very chalk bracket. I feel like of course there is going to be 1 or 2 Cinderellas, but the way that this season has shaped up for college basketball, I would not be surprised if it is a very chalky March.
Yeah, definitely. Vandy, St. Mary's. St. Mary's over Vandy in the seeding. I think that's going to be a good game. I think that people are going to not really talk too much about.
Yeah, I mean, would you feel comfortable moving Vandy up in this over St. Mary's?
I would have flipped. I would have thought Vandy is the 7 and St. Mary's the 10.
Yeah, I mean, I just wasn't impressed with St. Mary's this year. I feel like Vanderbilt, again, in the SEC, which is one of the toughest conferences of all time this year, I feel like they've held their own. I would move Vanderbilt up.
I think Vanderbilt is getting kind of the bad end of the stick, the S end of the stick here with being in the SEC, where I think they definitely should be. I'm going Vandy here.
Sounds good to me. Moving forward.
We're on to Alabama. Bama, they look great. No disrespect to Robert Morris, but we're going Bama here. Houston, Can you tell me what the initials of SIUE stand for? If you could tell me that, we'll pick them.
Suey mama.
SIUE basketball. Southern Illinois University Edwardsville College. Is that? Have they been in the league this whole time?
Good for them. You know what? Yeah. Let's go ahead and keep it moving.
You're here. You made it. All right, Gonzaga versus Georgia. I mean,
This
is
has
that
not been a good Gonzaga team, if I'm
exactly?
gonna
I was
be
gonna say,
honest. They
is the SEC just gonna dominate the first round here?
I feel like again, I feel like this is where obviously the SEC has the upper echelon, like the 1 and 2 seed, obvious, but I think the depth of this SEC conference is going to show throughout this tournament.
Definitely. Oh, here we go. McNeese. They got the team manager he's the first ever team manager for a team to get an NIL deal. He's inked 3 NILs. They won their tournament. They're coming in hot, but is enough to beat a Clemson squad.
And one thing to watch, both of these coaches, coaches for Clemson and the coach for McNeese, are up for the Indiana job. And so this could be something, a battle, which if one of them wins, or even if one of them loses and doesn't go on a huge run, that could end up being like who gets the job for Indiana. This is going to be something to watch for. Last year, I went McNeese, felt like their pace of play, their ability to get up and down the field and score. I thought that was going to be a factor, and they went and just got smacked. So I don't know about picking McNeese again. I feel like
See,
when
here's the
you
thing. I want to go, but then I'm like, the 12 seeds are bangers, dude. Like we're picking a lot of 12 seeds. I don't feel comfortable going another 12. Like I think we go 5 here. I think we go Clemson
yeah, I feel like we go Clemson.
cuz it's just suspicious to me that all the 12s are like pretty solid.
And then this one. How the heck is Purdue a 4 seed? Purdue
Baffling,
had a
baffling.
very down year. This is ridiculous that we have Purdue as a 4 seed. But anyways, go ahead and move them.
I was about to say if Purdue doesn't get, no disrespect to High Point, we know how it goes in the tournament, but if Purdue does not make it past this game, fire everybody.
Yeah,
Fire everybody. All right, Illinois, and then it's Texas or Xavier. I mean it's hard to judge right now, but I think I would just go Illinois.
I would go Illinois. The one thing I would say with Illinois is that they are a very up and down team. Their margin of victory, when they win by 15 points. When they lose, their margin of defeat is 15 points. So either they blow people out or they get blown out. If you catch Illinois on their bad day, you can very easily take that game. That is something that scares me about advancing them forward throughout the tournament.
Yeah, and I just want to clarify that I learned how to say Illinois now. I no longer say Illinois, and I got you guys in the comments to thank for that.
You said it. I mean, you said it earlier when it was like Southern Illinois
No, I
Institute of
didn't. No,
Technology.
I
Yeah,
did I.
you said Illinois, and I just didn't want to call you out on it. You loser.
We're gonna have to run the clip back on that. I don't know. I don't know if I did that. All right,
You did.
Kentucky versus Troy. I gotta go Kentucky, right?
Kentucky, I mean, honestly, Mark Pope has done such a good job in his first year of coaching this Kentucky team. It doesn't have the super high recruits that we were expecting, obviously, with Coach Calipari, but he's done a very good job in just creating a very cohesive unit.
Yeah, UCLA, Utah State. You know, we're in California. I like UCLA. Something about Utah State for me this season. But what do you feel? What are you feeling the vibes on that?
I would be fine advancing Utah State.
Let's go. I think UCLA is like another program where I'm like, I gotta see it. Like you gotta win some games so I could believe it. Tennessee, sorry, Wilford, put the dogs down.
Oh, roof.
All right, let's go back up. Second round here. This is where we start, showing flexing on how good we are at making a bracket. Because all the right now we're at 100%. So we know you miss 100% of shots you don't take. So we're shooting. Auburn, Louisville. I I gotta go Auburn here. Louisville's been solid. I like their guard play, but Auburn is just I think all around better.
I feel like Louisville could get the upset here. Again, Auburn is kind of in a bad spot right now. They've lost 3 of their last 4 games. They haven't looked as dominant. And yeah, you could say this, last game of the season, we had nothing to play for. It is what it is. But you also turn around and lost in the tournament as well. I just don't feel great about Auburn, but I would be fine advancing them past Louisville. Yeah.
I think Louisville definitely could pull off the upset the way, especially what they've been playing lately. But I gotta lean on the talent of Auburn. Like I think they just have so much talent in early rounds of the tournament. I'd more so rely on talent than like the some teams. They have the power of friendship, but not here when the talent outweighs so much.
Yeah, I mean, if we look at the talent that Auburn has, they're stacked, at least 6 guys deep. And Janai Broom is a guy who is really battling back and forth with Cooper Flagg for Player of the Year.
Yeah, Broom, like who on Louisville could stop him? And then if you get Baker Mazzaro going, that's a deadly combination right there.
But also Baker Mazzaro is a loose cannon. Like I could see him
streaky,
but I could also see him getting into a scuffle and getting ejected.
He also was in foul trouble for like most of the conference tournament.
Yeah. So again, don't feel great about Auburn.
All right, UC San Diego and Texas A&M. Does the Cinderella continue here?
I'm gonna go ahead and say no.
I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that.
Yep. Again, we're really SEC heavy here.
Yeah, I wonder if that's gonna come back to bite us.
We will see.
All right, North Carolina, Iowa State here. I'm tempted to go North Carolina.
I am tempted to go North Carolina. I feel, again, this is where Iowa State is going to run into the problem of they just lost a guy who leads the team in minutes, who leads the team in assists, and who is second in scoring for them. I feel like UNC, although they're 1-12 in quad 1 wins. I feel like they are top 30 in a lot of different categories. I feel like they're better than what they've put on paper as far as the schedule moving forward. Let's give it to UNC.
I feel like North Carolina is like a victim of their own success a little bit this season, where like people want to, poo-poo them because they're not living up to like the legacy. But I mean, they're a solid squad, and especially in tight situations, we just saw like they're pretty solidly coached in game time tight situation. From what I saw,
they're not. Don't make me do this.
I didn't want to say good. I didn't want to say good.
But like, solidly coached. Look at what this was twice against Duke where they've battled back and they've lost it at the end. And this time it was because of a stupid mistake that you should be like. I don't know why the guy did the infraction during the free throw. There was no reason to do that.
But is that on coaching? Is that on the
Yes, that's on your responsibility.
A young guy
on the floor.
A young guy flinching. Like I think your hate for the coach is taking over a bit. And I think he's been solid as of late. Not solid, but he's been solid.
No, he hasn't. Again, they have one quad 1 win. It's not like they're this amazing team. Like they really don't deserve to be here. But I feel like because they are top 30 in a lot of different categories, they're good enough to squeak by. So that is the only, and because Iowa State is missing a key piece, then I'm going to go ahead and move them forward. But I'm not going to say that they're this great team.
No, I'm not saying they're great.
You made me shit talk them.
I knew if I barely said anything.
Look at what you've done.
You hate North Carolina, but yeah, they're good enough to squeak by here. I'm not saying they're a great team, but I think they're gonna be good enough to get by a couple of these rounds. Like we're putting. Let's move on. Marquette, Michigan State. Is Izzo gonna make noise at like? Is he gonna get back to greatness ever?
This is actually a very talented Michigan State team. They are well deserving of the 2 seed. I'm not super high on Marquette. I think that they make it past Marquette fairly easily. I think that they breeze through it.
I'm on the other end where I think Marquette's it's gonna be a tight one. It's gonna be a defensive battle, but I lean Michigan State too.
Okay.
All right, Florida, UConn. I gotta go Florida straight up. Like,
Florida
good.
is looking like the best team in this country. I would not be surprised if many people have them winning the tournament. I mean, if you look at what they did in the SEC tournament, man, they put up in the championship game, they put up the most points in SEC history on top of a very crippling defense. Give me Florida.
Let's go. Memphis, Maryland. It's a pretty interesting matchup. I want to lean Maryland. I think they're just. I don't know if they're better, but I've seen better play out of them from what I've seen from Memphis.
Maryland is bigger, faster, stronger. Give me Maryland.
Yeah, it would take like a coaching clinic from Penny to win this game, I think. But I don't know if he got it in him with this
Whoa,
squad.
whoa, 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 whoa.
Oh, wrong. Oh, sorry. We're going Maryland. We're going Maryland.
Yes.
I knew we were that. That was a misclick. Dang, you're acting like we lost a bet right there. All right. Missouri, Texas Tech. This one is gonna be a toss up for me. I'm gonna let you roll with this one.
My heart wants to go Missouri, but Texas Tech is good. Texas Tech is I think it's a sneaky team that's gonna go very, very deep into this tournament. I'm gonna go Texas Tech here.
And if we're gonna lean against the SEC a little bit here, I think we go Texas Tech.
Yep.
I think St. John's got this. They're too good, too solid defensively, and they're too solid as a unit, playing pretty clean basketball. I think they're good.
Yeah. That's fine with me. Again, Kansas has just been been a disappointing season for Kansas. Yeah, I just don't know what else they could do.
All right, we got Duke and Baylor. Now here's the is Cooper Flag gonna play?
I believe so. I believe he is going to play. I don't know if he's going to play the first round, but I believe he'd be ready by then.
All right, well let's go. I'm going Duke then, assuming Cooper Flag's ready to go.
Yeah, let's do it.
Oregon, Arizona. I want to go Arizona here, but I'm open. I'm open to hear your take for Oregon.
No, I'm fine going Arizona. I don't really like this Oregon team. I think Arizona, they have a lot of guys that have been to the tournament. I feel like you gotta, keep it going. Tommy Lloyd is a very good coach. I think that they make it.
Agreed. BYU, Wisconsin is a tough matchup for me. I'm kind of leaning Wisconsin here.
I'm also leaning Wisconsin, and it's a very slight lean, but I'm gonna go that.
Yeah. Next year I would go BYU here, but this year I'm going Wisconsin. Vandy, Bama. I think Bama's been too good. I want to see them go against Florida again.
Yeah.
All right, let's go down next row. Houston, Georgia. I mean, I gotta go Houston, right? Like they've been solid defensively. They look good. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I don't know.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
Tell me. All right.
No, I think
I
Houston. I think we advance Houston.
Because I'm starting to think like, okay, which one seed is gonna fall? And I'm like,
And
Houston.
where?
Houston is giving me the vibes right now. But Clemson, Purdue, I gotta go Clemson.
I have to go Clemson here. I think that again, this is it's a sneaky 5 seed for Clemson. I think that they're better than this seeding, and I think Purdue is worse than this seeding, if that makes sense.
Definitely. All right, Illinois, Kentucky.
Again, I got to go back to the differential. When Illinois wins, they blow them out. I don't see this Kentucky team getting blown out. I think that Kentucky is good enough, has better coaching. I think that Kentucky advances.
Agreed. I think they have to advance. They're Kentucky, like Illinois. I don't see them being like a huge threat in this tournament.
Yeah.
Utah State, Tennessee. I think Tennessee is going to overwhelm Utah State. I want to go Tennessee.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Auburn versus A&M and Duke versus Arizona.
This matchup in the Sweet 16 is a pretty immediate rematch. I believe it was the second to last game of the season for Auburn, and Texas A&M just took control from start to finish, and they dominated them. I don't. Again, after that game, they lost again to Alabama. Then they lose in the championship in the SEC tournament. So nothing has shown me that Auburn is gonna get over that hump here. I'm gonna go Texas A&M.
I want to go Texas A&M too. I think Auburn, it at times does give that vibe of a young team that makes mistakes that could blow it, and their talent has just come through in the end of some of these games. But at some point, that luck's going to run out, and I think Texas A&M's the team to put it away. Duke versus Arizona. I mean, if we're going with Cooper Flag is should be fully healthy at this point or pretty close to it, I'd probably go Duke.
Yeah, and I think Duke showing what they did without Cooper Flag. It does raise some red flags like, oh, dang. But at the end of the day, they found a way to win. They found a way. Malawatch looks good. Con Knipple showed flashes here and there. I think then you add Cooper Flag back into this. This is a head and shoulders a number one seed, like a true number one seed.
Definitely. And this is where it gets interesting. I think North Carolina, Michigan State, like I said before, is Izzo gonna, continue to try to get back to some glory here? And I think if North Carolina makes to this point, Michigan State is solid enough to beat them.
Yeah, hands down. I just ranted about it last time. I'm going to go Michigan State. I don't think North Carolina should be in this tournament. I think that they're going to get a few wins just because they are better than where they are seeding wise. But I think Michigan State, again, this is a very talented team.
All right, and Wisconsin, Bama. I'd lean Bama.
I don't fully trust it. I don't fully trust. The only reason I'm hesitant about Bama is it feels very gimmicky at times. Like we know what Nate Oates and this Bama team is going to do. They're going to try to run and gun. They're going to shoot the three and they're going to get layups. Like they have no in between. They have no real feel for the game. And I think that that is going to run them into some issues here. And I think Wisconsin is good enough to get over those issues. And I think we've seen it a couple of different times from Bama where they just feel like they don't actually play basketball. They just chuck. And it's like, why did you do that? I don't know, because Nate Oates told me. And it's like, well, that's not part of the situation here. Like we should have held the ball, but instead they just don't play very disciplined. And so like I would lean towards Wisconsin in this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm open for it. Let's go. And we got some down here. All right, Florida, Maryland.
Oh,
Here's the thing. I think Maryland can compete. I think they've looked good. They can put up points. They're big. And Florida is really good. They're really disciplined. But I think this game could be like tight defensive game until the end where it starts to pop off. And then it's like, who's going to get the last shot?
yeah, I mean, I think it's very possible that Maryland could knock off Florida. I think, again, Florida not getting the 1-1 seed or Auburn not getting knocked down a few pegs, it does fuck over Florida in this matchup. But I mean, this bracket is considerably tougher than the Auburn path. And so, yeah, it's only going to get harder as this tournament goes, but this is a very, very tough matchup. I think it's a coin flip game, but I have to go with what I've seen, and I've seen that Florida is a solid team. They could win a championship. I'm going to go Florida.
Yeah, same here. On the other end, Houston, I think I would trust more than a Clemson squad.
Yes, I would say, yeah.
All right, let's go Texas Tech, St. John's. Here's the thing, I'm all in on St. John's this year. I like just watching them play. I think they have what it takes. Like they have what it takes to win it all, and they also play a style that really favors going through this tournament and winning it all.
Yeah. I feel really good about St. John's. I think we go ahead and move them forward.
Kentucky, Tennessee.
God, this is going to be a tough one for me. I think Tennessee has obviously the two better players in Zakai Ziegler and Chance Lanier, but we've seen like these before down the stretch with Tennessee, weird tension going on with this team where they just don't really look totally in sync offensively. Where Chaz Lanier, they're like telling him to shoot when he doesn't want to shoot. It's very weird at times, and so I don't know what to make of this. This is a kind of a coin flip game for me.
If I had to choose, gun to my head, I go Tennessee.
All right, let's go ahead and do it. I hold on.
You want to go Kentucky?
I do want to go Kentucky here. I the only reason is I know in the head to head before Kentucky has won more recently, but I again, this is a coin flip game. If you want to go, we want to go with your first gut. Let's go with Tennessee.
I think Tennessee. I'm feeling it.
All right, let's do it. I just don't think Kentucky has the horses to run with them either. Now that I'm thinking about it.
All right, let's go. We got Texas A&M versus Michigan State.
Ooh,
This is a tough one. I think
I
I
know.
want to go Michigan State, but I think I got to go Texas A&M.
Is this a full bounce back year for Izzo?
That's
Like,
the thing too.
is this a magic run for Izzo? Like, if think about it, if Tom Izzo does make this run, if he gets this far in the tournament, do you know that crowd is going to be behind him? You know that the hype is going to be so real, and he almost turns into like this Michigan State team almost turns into a pseudo Cinderella, and I think the entire crowd is behind him. I think the entire nation is behind it. I think I go Michigan State.
Listen, I'm more than happy to go Michigan State here.
I think we go Michigan State.
Let's go. And do you think Wisconsin now can knock off Duke?
No, I don't think so. I think Duke continues to roll. I think we've seen that they are one of the two top teams. I think we put them in.
Let's do it. And then Florida St. John's. That would be
Oh,
such a matchup. Let's go to Houston, Tennessee first.
yeah.
Houston, Tennessee. I've been hunting for a while here of like when's Houston gonna fall. I think this is Tennessee beating Houston.
I think that Houston has the defense to suffocate Tennessee. And again, like I said in the last one, I almost 50-50 gave it to Kentucky. Kentucky beat them before. I think Houston can beat Tennessee.
All right, let's go Houston. All right, Florida St. John's. We got to make the pick. I don't know which way to go here. This would be an amazing game. I just want to lean. I want to lean St. John's this year, but
All right, yeah.
I could also go Florida. We know we've said that Florida could be the best team.
This again, as I said before, being in this part of the bracket is screwing over Florida. I think we roll. I would like Florida to win here. I think
Florida could get hot offensively more so than St. John's could get hot offensively. But
I also think
will they
that
hit
they
enough
have
shots?
better athletes. I think Florida has better athletes. And that's the one thing where I'm hung up on. Like, I know St. John's, whenever we watch them, they play the game the right way. They do everything that they are moving towards is winning basketball. The one thing is that these Florida guys are just head and shoulders better athletes than them. If you want to go St. John's, I'm fine with it. I think that St. John's, again, they do everything right to play winning basketball. Can they capitalize on a few mistakes that Florida might make? Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is too, like St. John's, they have they have kind of a guy that can do everything. They have a guy that can shoot threes. They have a guy that can get to the bucket and play defense. They have a guy that hits the mid range. Like they have a little bit of everything on offense, even though the talent's not to the level of Florida's talent.
Yeah.
So that's why it makes it tough. I think we'll just go Florida. Florida's
You just win.
no.
I think we go St. John's.
St. John's.
I
Let's
think
go
we
St. John's. Lock it in. All right, this is the final four. We got 2 2s and 2 1s. Michigan State versus St. John's and Duke versus Houston. Which one you going to talk about first?
I think we do Duke, Houston.
Listen, Cooper Flag, is he the guy? Is he going to be healthy? Are they going to get to this point And if they make it through this point, is he going to be healthy enough to carry? I know the rest of the squad is really talented. Houston, they feel like they're battling. Is the talent of Duke going to just overtake Houston?
I don't even think that it's just talent wise. I think that the Duke team that we've seen early on choke away some games in the later half. I think that they have grown so much from those situations moving forward. I think that they are head and shoulders. They're a completely different team than what they started the season at. I think they take this step. I think they make it to the national championship.
I'd agree. I think this just feels like a Duke team that's fully put together this year.
Hands down.
All right. Michigan State, St. John's. Listen, we've been big on Michigan State. We've been big on St. John's. If St. John's gets to this game against Michigan State, I think they play a similar style, but St. John's plays it better. I would go St. John's.
I would go St. John's as well. I think, again, everything I said in the last round, St. John's, they just play basketball the right way.
Exactly. So our finals matchup, St. John's versus Duke.
Oh,
That would be, I'm not going to lie, that's such a hype matchup. Like, I'd love to see that.
basketball's back, baby. I mean, honestly, if this tournament even turns out like halfway of what we're thinking, then this is going to be an awesome like slate of basketball moving forward. I'm so hyped for it.
April
Duke,
7th, St. John. Here's the thing, St. John's, right, defensively, but Duke is just at full strength, so efficient offensively. They can hit threes with Knipple and Cooper Flag. It can score. Can they contain these guys long enough? And if St. John's, who's used to getting down by double digits, if they get down by double digits, can they battle back against this team?
I mean, we've seen worse teams in UNC battle back from Duke, this, a deficit from Duke. And we've seen Duke choke away games. Again, this was early on in the season, but have they remedied this? Have they figured out, like, okay, rather than just dumping it off to Cooper Flag, can we actually draw something up for him? Can we put it in Con Knippel's hand? Can we really pick and roll with Malawatch? What can we really do? Like, I'd be interested to see if something like that did happen in this game, how they go about really kind of figuring it out, because they did look lost against UNC. Yeah, it was without Cooper Flag, but it just felt like there was no offense going to be coming from anybody, and anything that UNC did, they just didn't have a match for it. And so
But
I think,
you're right. Some of those other guys after that game started to build confidence in themselves because they were like, well, we have to do it because Cooper Flag's not here to save us.
yeah, that's true. So I want to say that they take it. I want to say Duke ends up winning this national championship.
Yeah, here's the thing. If St. John's early is so, suffocating on defense that they can build a lead, I think St. John's could do it. But I think the more likely scenario is it's either close or Duke builds up like a 9-point lead and kind of carries that throughout.
Yeah, I could see that happening. I think there's just too much talent here. Too much talent. Everybody is, again, long, athletic. I think that they overpower them.
Locking it in. We're going Duke.
All right.
How many total points will be scored in the championship game? This would be like it's gonna be like 64-75. Whatever that is. Is that like 130 something? Yeah.
39.
Yeah, that's our all right, that's our bracket. Let's get a big picture of this here so you guys can copy it,
Yeah.
Can we not see the whole thing?
You can't see the whole thing.
Well, there's that. That's yeah, you guys, we'll share
Good
this
enough.
somewhere.
You guys,
We'll share it,
yeah, follow.
All right, well, that was good. That took an hour actually. So
Yep.
all right, well, if you guys watched this long, thank you so much. We're really hyped for March Madness, and we got a perfect bracket here, so I'm ready to hit some of these wins on the betting lines.
Yeah, and it's something we are going to be discussing the tournament as it goes along, probably either each day or each round. So be on the lookout for that. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe. Drop some comments. Let us know what your thoughts are. Who are you getting upset in this tournament? Who do you have as the winner? Give us all that feedback.
All right, we'll see you next time.
Later.